You may not understand it now, but the universe has mysterious ways of speaking to you. And when it wants to prepare you for something big, it gives you signs. Little whispers in your routine, sounds, repetitions, strange sensations, chants, encounters that seem more like coded messages from destiny. And if you're watching this, it's because something is moving. Something is about to happen in the next 48 hours. And yes, you will feel it. You will see it. You will experience it. In this video, I'll reveal 12 signs that the universe is moving for you and preparing you for a transformation that can completely change the course of your life. Stay with me until the end. Don't ignore what you're about to hear. You feel like something is about to happen, and you can't explain why. There are days when you wake up with a heavy heart, even without a clear reason, as if something were approaching, as if there were a different vibe in the air. You try to follow your routine, but there's a subtle strangeness to everything. The hours pass more slowly, your thoughts deepen, and the silence around you seems louder than ever. And even without any visible evidence, you feel something is brewing. This feeling comes from within. It can't be explained logically because it's spiritual. It's your soul's perception of something your mind hasn't yet grasped. Sometimes it appears as unexplainable anxiety. Other times it feels like butterflies in your stomach for no reason. But what you're really feeling is the approach of a turning point. It's as if the universe is organizing the backstage of your life to lead you to a new scenario, one more aligned with your essence, more connected to what you should have already experienced. And even if you try to ignore it, the feeling won't go away. It haunts you in every detail, in small delays, in people acting strangely, in messages arriving at unlikely times. Constantly, the universe nudges you, telling you, pay attention, something is coming. And the more you ignore it, the stronger this feeling becomes. As if the invisible were screaming inside you. You'll often think you're going crazy, but in reality, you're awakening. Because only those who are preparing for a major transformation feel this subtle shift in their energy field. Only those who are ready to change begin to realize that the external world no longer makes sense as it once did. And this is the clearest sign that a new phase is being formed in your life. So don't run away from it. Don't try to stifle what you feel. Instead of running away, listen to yourself. Observe. Allow yourself to immerse yourself in this different vibration. Because it is in this state of sensitivity that invisible doors begin to open. And those who resist miss the moment. But those who accept are reborn. Repetitive signs. When the universe wants to tell you something urgent, it starts repeating itself. And it repeats itself until you understand. You look at the clock and see 11:11. A car with license plate 222 passes by. You hear the same song in 3 different places on the same day. And what seemed like a coincidence begins to transform into an insistent message. These are the signs repeating themselves, knocking on your door, trying to break through your distraction. The universe sends you codes, and it's up to you to decipher them. These repetitions aren't trivial. They're symbolic forms of communication. When you see the same numbers, words, or patterns occurring, it's synchronicity. It's an alignment between your energy field and the cosmic movement around you. It's as if you're being guided by an invisible path, and the signs are the arrows along the way. And the most powerful thing? They only appear with intensity when a major change is about to happen. And the more you notice, the more they grow. You start to hear phrases that touch you, as if the world were speaking directly to you. A video appears out of nowhere and tells you exactly what you needed to hear. A conversation between strangers next to you unlocks the answer you've been silently asking for. This isn't a coincidence, this is divine language. It's the universe bending over backward to reach you. But you have to be awake. Because the signs don't shout, they whisper. And those who are numb to the noise of the world, to fears and distractions, can't hear them. That's why many ignore synchronicities, thinking they're nonsense and missing the moment. But those who listen, who feel, who accept, begin to dance with destiny. You begin to follow the rhythm of what lies beyond matter. So when you notice something repeating itself, stop, listen, Feel. The universe is warning you. It's trying to align your path with what is already rightfully yours. And if you follow the signs, you'll realize that nothing happens by chance. Everything is code, everything is direction. And destiny is only the result of those who had the courage to read the invisible messages of time, the sudden distancing of people and situations. You start to notice that some people simply disappear from your life. There's no fight, no reason, just a silent drifting away. That once intense friendship cools. That once daily conversation fades. Invitations are canceled. Meetings no longer happen. And it all feels strange, uncomfortable. You even try to rescue them, to keep the wheels turning, but nothing flows. It's as if an invisible energy is pushing certain connections away from you. And as much as it hurts, this too is a sign. When the universe is about to transform your life, it begins by clearing the field. People who no longer vibrate at the same frequency as you are simply removed. Not because they are bad or wrong, but because their journey no longer aligns with your evolution. New things don't grow on occupied ground. They need space. And so, the universe begins to gently remove everything that binds you to what no longer serves you. But in this process, you may feel lonely. You may think you're being left out, that something is wrong with you. But it isn't. On the contrary, this is a profound spiritual realignment. It's as if the universe is saying, these people have already fulfilled their role. Now, you need silence to grow, to hear what only emptiness can reveal. It is in this distance that you will rediscover your essence without interference. And then you realize that the more people leave, the more you begin to find yourself. You begin to realize you are molding yourself too much, giving in too much, distracting yourself too much. Absence transforms into presence of your own truth. And the space left by those who left begins to be filled by something greater. Peace. Clarity. Direction. A new vibration that doesn't yet have a name, but you feel it coming. Trust this separation. Don't try to force bonds that are loosening. Sometimes the greatest act of love is to allow certain relationships to end. Because when you allow the universe to do this cleansing, it reciprocates by placing in your path connections that heal, that propel, that make you feel alive. What leaves is never by chance. And what arrives comes with purpose. Intense, vivid dreams full of symbolism. Suddenly, your dreams change. They become more vivid, more intense. You wake up remembering details that seem tattooed on your mind. You dream of water, doors, paths, animals, mirrors, lights, and you feel that it wasn't just a dream. It was a message, a journey, a direct communication with something beyond logic. It's as if, while your body sleeps, your soul receives instructions from another dimension. These dreams aren't ordinary. They're codes. They're subtle ways the universe speaks to you when your conscious mind finally falls silent. Sometimes what you see in dreams are parts of yourself trying to emerge. Other times they're warnings, predictions, confirmations that something important is about to happen. You might try to ignore them, but the feeling upon waking is too strong to be forgotten. There are nights when you wake up crying, without knowing why, or feeling a peace you've never felt before, or with the certainty that you've seen someone who has already passed away. All of this has a reason. It's during sleep that your deepest realm opens and you access the invisible. If you're having these dreams frequently, it's no coincidence. It's preparation. The universe is training your soul for what's to come. And the more you pay attention to the symbols, the clearer everything becomes. You realize that what appears in your dreams begins to be reflected in your daily life. You see the same elements in the real world. You hear words that were in your dreams. Everything connects. Everything responds. Because when the universe prepares you, it gives you clues, and many of them come while you sleep. So, take care of your sleep. Honor your dreams. Write down what you remember. Reflect on the symbols. Because you are being guided. And the more you respect these nocturnal messages, the more in tune you become with your intuition. Remember, dreams are not escapes from reality. They are the other side of reality wanting to touch you. And those who listen to what sleep reveals wake up with a more awake spirit than ever. feeling of loneliness even surrounded by people. You're surrounded by voices, conversations, presences, but you feel alone. It's as if even when you're with someone, no one really sees you. You try to participate, smile, fit in, but deep down, you feel like you no longer belong there. This silent solitude begins to tighten. You feel like disappearing, running away, searching for something, even without knowing what. This feeling isn't depression, it's an awakening. It's the soul telling you it's in transition. When you enter a profound process of transformation, the universe places you in this state of emotional detachment. This happens so you can look inward, so you can finally stop searching outside for what you'll only find within yourself. The solitude that bothers you is also the one that teaches you, because it's in this solitude that you begin to truly listen to yourself, without the noise of others' expectations, without the burden of pleasing or responding. And in this process, you begin to realize that many of your connections were superficial. That much of what you called love was actually attachment. That many of your conversations were distractions to avoid looking at the emptiness that existed behind. And then you understand. The universe is tearing you apart to rebuild you. It's taking you to an invisible retreat, where only you and your truth exist. The pain of feeling alone is the gateway to your essence. And when you cross this threshold, everything changes. You begin to be self-sufficient. You begin to find peace in silence, beauty in routine, meaning in details. Solitude becomes a temple, and what was once discomfort becomes liberation. Because when you recognize yourself, you realize you were never truly alone. There was always something greater accompanying you, even when no one else was. So if you're feeling this emptiness, don't run away. Don't try to fill it with distractions. Sit with it. Look at it. Because within this solitude lies the key to your next self. And when you learn to feel complete even in silence, the universe will begin to surround you with people who see your light, not out of need, but out of real connection. Sudden desire to change everything, from hair to career. One day you wake up and feel an inexplicable urge to change. You want to cut your hair, change your clothes, move house, quit your job, turn your life upside down. It's as if something inside you is screaming for freedom, as if the old version of yourself is crumbling from within. And what once seemed normal now seems unbearable. This urge isn't madness. It's your spirit trying to emerge. This radical desire for transformation is a direct sign that your soul is rejecting what is false. When you begin to align with who you truly are, everything created to please others begins to crumble. The once stable job becomes a prison. The once comfortable relationship becomes a burden. Even the mirror begins to bother you, because you know that image no longer represents who you are inside. And even if you try to convince yourself it's just a phase, the restlessness returns, stronger, more intense. It won't go away until you act, because the universe is pushing you. It's inviting you to be reborn, and rebirth requires courage, to let go of what was safe, to let go of what was predictable, to throw yourself into the unknown. But in that leap lies true liberation. Changing everything doesn't mean losing control. It means finally taking control. Stop living by inertia and start living by choice. The desire to change comes like an internal fire, and you can try to put out that fire, or you can let it burn away what no longer serves you, making room for what truly matters. It's not about impulsiveness. It's about integrity, about aligning the external with the internal. So if you're feeling this urge for transformation, don't silence it. It's a summons, an announcement that the universe is ready to deliver you a new reality, but only if you're willing to leave the old one behind, because what's coming is greater, and you need to be clean, light, and free to receive it. Physical phenomena, goosebumps, chills, and sensation of invisible presence. You're standing still, silent, and suddenly, a shiver runs down your spine. No wind, no cold, no explanation. Sometimes you feel a heat rise through your body, as if an energy were coursing through you. Other times it feels like someone has passed by, even though no one is there. And the strangest thing, this doesn't scare you. In fact, it makes you stop and pay attention, because something inside you knows. This isn't for nothing. The body senses before the mind understands. It's a sensitive radar, capturing subtle energies, invisible movements that the human eye can't see. When the universe begins to prepare you for a profound transformation, your energy field changes, and your body responds. Goosebumps, chills, a tightness in your chest, tingling in your hands, all of these can be signs that your frequency is shifting. You're shifting out of automatic mode and tuning into a new vibration. Sometimes this sensation is accompanied by a presence. You feel like someone is with you, even when you're alone. It may seem strange, but this is common when greater forces approach. Spiritual beings, guides, protectors, higher energies, they all manifest silently. And the body, being intuitive, captures this more easily than the rational mind. So if you're experiencing this kind of physical phenomenon, pay attention. Something is trying to communicate with you. And no, it's not imagination. It's perception. It's awakening. Most people ignore these signs because they live numb. But those who begin to open up spiritually realize that everything has a meaning. These shivers aren't just biological. They're vibrational responses. They're the universe's way of touching your body to say, feel, something is happening right now. And the more you open up, the more they increase, because you begin to align with dimensions that were previously closed. So the next time you feel that sudden chill, that rising heat, that unexpected chill, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and simply ask silently, what do you want me to perceive? The universe always answers, but only those who feel it are able to listen with their whole body. And if you're feeling this, it's because your transformation has already begun. Uncontrollable desire to isolate oneself, to be silent, to listen to oneself. Suddenly, the noise of the world begins to bother you. Superficial conversations seem empty. Social media loses its appeal. Parties, meetings, commitments, everything begins to feel forced. You feel a growing desire to withdraw, to silence, to be alone. But not out of sadness, out of necessity. Because something inside you is asking, listen to what's inside. It's your spirit asking for space. This impulse toward isolation is one of the clearest signs that the universe is beginning a process of internal refinement. Before any visible transformation, there's a deepening, a sacred retreat. You feel the need to listen to yourself more, that you need to filter what's coming in, that you can no longer live with noise that suffocates the soul. And this isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's energetic maturity. During this period, you'll notice that everything becomes more sensitive. Sounds seem louder. Emotions come with greater intensity. Intuition becomes heightened. It's as if your body and mind are asking for a break from excess, a break from the external, a break to reconnect with the only truth that truly matters, your own. And this is the soil where the universe plants the seeds of change. As you isolate yourself, you begin to notice things that previously went unnoticed. A butterfly that lands nearby, a bird that sings just for you, an insight that arises in the shower, an idea that changes everything. Silence becomes fertile. It begins to nourish you, to rebuild you. And when you begin to feel pleasure in your own presence, it's a sign that you're ready for the next level. So, if everything inside you is asking for silence, honor that request. If you want to disappear for a while, disappear. If you want to turn off your phone, turn it off. There's nothing wrong with needing yourself. This retreat isn't an escape, it's preparation. Because before blossoming, every soul must go through its inner winter, and it's in the cold of silence that the roots grow deepest. Unexpected encounters with people who bring answers. Sometimes, you meet someone out of the blue, at the grocery store, in line at the bank, somewhere you don't even want to be. The conversation starts with something banal, but suddenly that person says exactly what you needed to hear. A sentence, a look, a gesture. It's as if they were placed there just to deliver a message. And deep down, You know it wasn't chance. It was synchronicity. It was the universe acting with pinpoint precision. These encounters don't happen by coincidence. They're orchestrated behind the scenes of the invisible. Their souls crossing paths at just the right moment to activate something within you. They might be strangers or even people you already know, but at that moment they're channeling a divine message. And the most magical thing is that this always happens when you need it most. But you're not aware of it until you hear what you needed. These unexpected conversations often serve as confirmation, as if the universe is saying, yes, this is the way, keep going. It could be someone talking about the same topic you were thinking about, or someone mentioning a word you saw in a dream. When you're in the process of transformation, signs come in all directions, and one of the most direct is these meaningful human interactions. The more you open up, the more these encounters happen. It's as if the universe begins to move people toward you, like puzzle pieces suddenly fitting together. And even if you never see that person again, their mark remains. The message lingers and you feel, I needed to hear this. This is energy acting consciously. It's life conspiring for you without you even realizing the strings being pulled. So when someone crosses your path and touches you in some way, be attentive. Don't get distracted. Don't ignore it. That person might be exactly what you wordlessly asked for, and you might be that for them too. Because when the universe is active, it turns strangers into messengers, and you'll never look at a coincidence the same way again. You feel like you can no longer push through what you once tolerated. Suddenly, what you once accepted as a habit begins to bother you deeply. The little lies, the forced silences, the fake smiles. Everything that was once bearable now becomes intolerable. You feel like you can no longer force yourself. You can no longer pretend everything is okay when it's not. You can no longer fit into places where you have to hide to be accepted. And that's not fragility, it's growth. This feeling of inner rupture happens when your soul begins to demand truth, when the universe pulls you forcefully toward your essence. It's as if everything you tolerated for fear of loss now simply loses its meaning. You no longer want to simply survive within situations. You want to truly live, with presence, with integrity, with soul. And at that moment, you might even try to insist. Return to the old cycle. Keep up appearances. But something inside you screams, enough is enough. And you begin to feel sick in environments that don't respect your light. You begin to feel suffocated in relationships that require your absence to exist. Because when the universe is preparing you for transformation, it no longer lets you fit into what's small. The pain of breaking up is real. The fear is too. But the relief that comes afterward is liberating. You realize that nothing is more expensive than living against yourself. And you understand that you can no longer postpone who you are. And it's at this point that transformation begins to happen from the inside out. There's no going back. You no longer recognize yourself in your old selves, and that's a good sign. If you feel like you're at the limit of everything you've ever tolerated, trust. This discomfort is a blessing in disguise. It's the universe shaking you, awakening you, calling you to your true place. And those who heed this call never go back to living half-heartedly, because the truth once accessed becomes impossible to ignore. You start to question everything that seemed right. Suddenly, your certainties begin to crumble. What you once held so firmly now seems fragile. The opinions you held as absolute truths become uncomfortable. You find yourself asking, why do I believe this? Where did this idea come from? Does this still serve me? These questions come flooding in and can be uncomfortable at first. After all, it's difficult to deconstruct what has always been the foundation of your worldview. But this isn't a crisis, it's clarity. It's a sign that you're breaking out of autopilot mode and starting to see life through your own eyes. When the universe prepares you for a transformation, it first takes you out of hypnosis. It forces you to confront inherited beliefs, ingrained fears, and borrowed ideas. It's a profound process of internal rebooting, and while it may seem confusing, it's also liberating. It's at this moment that you realize that many of your decisions were made to please, to fit in, to survive, and now your spirit no longer accepts living this way. You begin to have the courage to break patterns, to break with dogmas, to reformulate your own identity. This may alienate some people, it may make those who knew you only one way uncomfortable. But it's necessary, because your soul is growing and the old clothes no longer fit. This process of questioning is like crossing a desert. You feel like you've lost your footing, that there's nowhere to look, that everything seems uncertain. But it's only when everything falls apart that something new can be born. It takes courage not to shy away from this stage, not to seek ready-made answers, just to silence the pain of doubt. Because it's in this doubt that wisdom resides, and it's in this silence that the voice of the soul finally reveals itself. If you're questioning yourself deeply, fear not. This isn't confusion, it's lucidity. You're waking up, you're discovering that you no longer need to repeat yourself, that you can choose, that you can build a new truth, more aligned with who you truly are. And those who have the courage to ask themselves are ready to transform. The feeling that something bigger is watching you all the time. For the past few days, you felt as if you're being watched. Not negatively, but as if a greater presence is watching you. You feel invisible gazes, as if someone is guiding you, protecting you, studying you with love. Sometimes this happens when you're alone. Other times, it appears in the midst of chaos, like a breath of calm amidst the confusion. This sensation isn't an illusion, it's perception. It's a connection with the invisible. The universe, when it wants to transform you, sends silent forces to guide you. You can call them whatever you like: divine presence, energy, guides, ancestry. The name doesn't matter. What matters is what you feel. And if you've been noticing this constant presence, this greater consciousness surrounding you, it's a sign that you're walking under protection, that there's something watching over you as you walk through the shadows. This presence also manifests itself through synchronicities, premonitions, and strong intuitions. It's as if everything is being carefully prepared for you to cross the next portal. And this doesn't mean you won't face challenges, it means you won't be alone in them. There's something watching you with eyes of love, even when you doubt, even when you fall. It's common to become emotional out of the blue, to cry for no reason, to feel an inexplicable love for everything and nothing. This is the energy of this presence touching you, opening your inner eyes. And the more you embrace this connection, the stronger it becomes. You begin to notice signs everywhere: feathers on the ground, lights flashing, a strange silence in the room. Everything becomes a reminder that you are being seen, even when no one else is. So if you feel like you're not alone, you're not. There's something sacred walking with you, something that knows exactly where you need to go. Trust this presence. Talk to it. Give thanks. Because when you recognize that you're being guided, the path stops being lonely and becomes sacred. A quiet peace begins to take hold of you, even in the midst of chaos. Perhaps for the first time you're feeling a strange peace, a serenity that doesn't match what's happening around you. Everything may be falling apart, people leaving, plans falling apart. And yet, there's something calm inside you, as if you know everything is exactly where it should be. This peace doesn't come from logic. It comes from the soul, and it's one of the clearest signs that the universe has already begun to transform you. This calm is spiritual maturity. It arises when you stop fighting the flow of life. When you understand that it's not control that protects you, but surrender. You begin to trust in the timing of things. You begin to accept the voids, the silences, the waiting. And you realize that even without having all the answers, you are being guided. This brings a lightness that nothing in the world can give, because it doesn't depend on anything outside of you. It's like being in the eye of a hurricane, and yet, you can breathe. This silent peace doesn't make you passive, it makes you strong. Because now, instead of reacting with despair, you observe with presence. You know that everything has a cycle, that every pain brings a message, that every fall gives way to a new flight. And with that, you stop despairing. You stop chasing what you no longer want, and you start walking toward what truly matters. And this peace, though subtle, is profound. It doesn't depend on applause, approval, or certainty. It arises when you accept who you are, where you are, just the way you are. When you understand that even the shadows are part of your light. It's in this state that you become imperturbable, that your energy begins to soar, and the universe begins to conspire in your favor more quickly. If you're feeling this strange serenity, even without knowing why, embrace it. It's confirmation that something has already changed, that the transformation has already happened within, even if the outside world is still in the process. This peace is the ultimate sign, the most sacred, the most powerful, because it announces that you are ready to receive what the universe has in store, ready to live the next version of yourself. If you've made it this far, have no doubt, this message was for you. The universe has guided you to this very moment because something is in motion, and the transformation you've been waiting for has already begun. It may not be visible yet. It may have no name, no form, but it's already happening within you. And when something changes within, the whole world begins to respond. The signs are there, in your feelings, in your thoughts, in the strange coincidences that repeat themselves, in the people who come and go. None of this is by chance. Everything is preparing you for the next 48 hours. A cycle closes, a new one opens, and you will be different, lighter, truer, more awake. And when that happens, you will remember this video. You will remember that it all began with a whisper. Now is the time to choose. You can ignore the signs, or you can follow. You can continue living by inertia, or you can take a conscious step toward your next level. But one thing is certain. The universe has already done its part. It warned you. It delivered the call. And what comes next depends on your courage to listen, accept, and act. If this message spoke to you, if something here touched you deep down, write in the comments, "I receive. I am ready." This phrase will seal your surrender. It will be your signal of return to the universe. And remember, those who feel, know. Those who know, change. Those who change, transform everything around them. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, share it with anyone who needs a wake-up call, and come back here in 48 hours, because something's going to happen. And when it does, you'll understand that none of this was a coincidence. It was the beginning of your new destiny.